3, 2, 1. Hey, what's up, everyone? MonroeMann, your favorite YouTube live streamer. I just got back home, and I wanted to share this topic a few days ago, but I'm sharing it again now about living and working with difficult people. And it's not just in your family, it's not just in your personal life, and it's not just in your work life. Difficult people are everywhere. And newsflash, guess what? Sometimes you're the difficult person. None of us is the perfect husband, wife, girlfriend, whatever. None of us is the perfect employee. None of us, if you have a business, is the perfect boss. None of us is the perfect friend. None of us is the perfect son, daughter, mother, father, sister, brother, whatever. And Mr. Good Cat here, who just joined the stream, can agree. And sometimes it's issues with mental health, where someone has literally memory problems, someone has emotional problems, somebody has severe anxiety, somebody has schizophrenia. I mean, so there are issues where someone actually has a serious, what's up, Violetta? A serious mental condition. But sometimes it's just not. I mean, I talk to many of my friends all the time, some of them have girlfriends, some of them have boyfriends, some of them are married, and it's one week, it's, oh my gosh, everything's so perfect. And then the next, what's up, Big Marquis? Great to see you. The next week, oh my gosh, I hate my wife. Oh my gosh, I hate my daughter's driving me crazy. Oh my gosh, my best friend is so annoying. Oh my gosh, I got to get rid of my roommate. My roommate does this. And then, oh my gosh, my boss is on my case all the time. Oh my gosh, my employee is the most irresponsible person. You cannot live without being around these types of people. And like I said, you are sometimes that person. Sometimes you are the little match. You're the spark that causes chaos in a relationship. So when I'm saying, dealing with or working with or living with difficult people, it's this big symbiotic relationship. It's who we are as humans. You're going to be a difficult person at some point in a relationship. Someone else is going to be a difficult person at some point in a relationship. You have to live through it. You have to work through it. We got 4 people on here, not even one like. I guess everyone's upset that I am telling everybody that you are a difficult person to live with and you're a difficult person to work with. What is going on, Jezebel and Big Marquis, Violetta? Great to see you. And 1 second, my friend is, give me 30 seconds, and Violetta and Big Mr. Good Cat, if you can kind of be moderators and keep people occupied for 30 seconds, a small text emergency I just got to take care of. I'll be back in 30 seconds. I'm back. Pardon the disruption. Again, one of my right now, literally what's happening right now, one of my friends' wives is getting threatened right now with, apparently her ex before she married my friend is now threatening her. I want to come over. I have to pick up my stuff. If you don't let me come over, I'm going to call the police, blah, blah. No matter how good your life is going, I guarantee you some difficult person is going to make it problem. And I shouldn't say a difficult person. A difficult situation is going to come out that is in the form of this annoying person or someone who's getting mad for no reason or this, that. You cannot let it bring your day down. And we're going to talk today during this whole thing about living and working with difficult people, because we have to get better at it. Let me look at these comments. A good example is when your partner's grandparents or whatever become sick or can't financially support themselves more and have to move in with you. So yeah, that is a huge thing. And It's very, very tough. I help my mom. My mom doesn't work now anymore. I manage all of her finances, and I am working my butt off to make sure that she, again, gets the help that she needs, this and that, but I don't want to be living with my mom again. And she and I, when we get together, it's fine in certain situations, but then something happens and boom, it's just a disaster of a relationship and it's not fun. And I'm sure many of you can relate to that. I love my mom. And if you were to ask her, she would tell you that I am very difficult and I am the problem. If you ask me, I would say she is the problem. But the truth is, who's the problem? Probably both of us. But it doesn't matter who the problem is. What I'm trying to do is help you to just get through it. How do you get through it? I'll answer your second question in a second. You said, how do you handle that with your parents and financially supporting themselves and parents moving in, this or that? The first thing is you have to, the number one solution is 1 day at a time, 1 hour at a time. That's how you handle these difficult relationships. You cannot think, oh my gosh, I cannot imagine working at this company for the next 30 years with this horrible boss. Like, can you get through the next hour? Can you get through the next day? Can you hold on until the weekend? And if so, that's all you need to do in the immediate. That's all you have to worry about is get through the next hour. Don't try to think, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. You cannot make these decisions when you are in that emotional turmoil. You got to just hold on for a little bit and get to the point where and get alone. What's the number one solution is when you're in these situations, extricate yourself from the situation. Get away from that person, even if it's only for an hour or a half an hour, but figure out how to, all right, let me pull away. But let me go back even further. Let's say you're in the middle of this confrontation and it's just, everything's getting heated. You have to hold your tongue sometimes and just take some deep breaths and say, I don't care if there's yelling. I don't care what's going on. Doesn't matter. I'm Teflon. I'm buttered up. You got Gator oil on you, as Billy Bob might say. Like, none of this is going to impact me. And just stay as calm as you can until you can get to a point, phase 2, where you can extricate yourself for at least a half an hour. Go for a walk around the block. Go sit out on the stoop. Just get away from that person, even if it's your job. Suck it up during the meeting, and then, okay, go to the bathroom. Go sit on the bathroom stall for 5 minutes and go text your friend or this or that. Just do something to get away. Take some deep breaths. Those are the first 2 things. That's how you endure it. That's how you get through it. But there may be another solution. We'll talk about that in a second. Mr. Goodget says, how do you handle that? You can't say no. So, hey, Pearl, I'll get to your question in 1 second. Let me go through them in order. And again, for those of you just joining, I'm not a clinical psychologist. I have a PhD in psychology. I'm just giving some friendly advice here as someone who has been through some difficult situations, and I want to share that. Mr. Goodcat, first of all, you can say no. I think that's the biggest fallacy that people have is, how could I say no? It's family. It's my brother. It's my this. It's whatever. Without getting sharing too much of my personal life on here, it's like, I don't have any relationship with my sisters anymore. I haven't talked to them in 10 years. Since 2014, when I first went to China to live in Shanghai. And everyone, whenever I tell this to people, they go, oh my God, you've got to get in touch with them. You've got to, and they're your brother, they're your sisters, they're blood, this, that. And I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't. I've often said this, that people say the blood is thicker than water. I say family is thicker than blood. What do I mean by that? Family has nothing to do with who you are related to. Nothing. There are some people who are in your biological lineage who are not helpful, and they're not friends, and they are not family. There are some people who have no biological relation to you, but treat you amazingly, and you can count on them, and they make you feel amazing and wonderful. And that is kind of this idea here. Is, again, Mr. Goodkin says, how can you say no? How can you handle that? you have to say no. You have to find another solution. I love my mom dearly, but she's not moving in with me and I'm not living with her again. And I work my ass off to manage her money. And I do gargantuan, Herculean, Olympian tasks to make sure that everything works. And I sacrifice my own ability to make money because I'm managing all the stuff for her. Why? Because I love her, but I also love myself. And this, the analogy I always tell people is, if you're on an airplane and you lose oxygen, you lose cabin pressure, and the oxygen mask comes down, who do you need to put the mask on first? Yourself. And people go, no, I'm a parent. You don't understand, Monroe. You got to put in your kids first. Like, guess what? Good luck, because all of your kids, you're going to save maybe one of your kids, because by the time you get to the second kid, because you don't have the oxygen on, you're going to pass out. So great parent you are. No, you as a parent need to focus on yourself first, and then you can take care of your kids. And it upsets me when people say, Monroe, you don't understand because you don't have kids. I have a mother who I care for. And I had my father who I cared for. Okay? I'm still number one. And I do not let my life and my dreams be pushed aside because of other people. As they say, your emergency is not my priority. Just because it's an emergency for you does not mean it has to become a priority for me. So you need to, and Mr. Goodcat, I don't know if you're giving a theoretical, and again, Pearl, don't worry, stick around, I'll answer your question in a second. Mr. Goodcat, it says it can be extremely difficult to accept and live with. I'm telling you, you need to be a parent to your parents. If you or any of your family members are in this situation, or you know a friend who's in this situation, say, look, we have a sit down and say, look, just like you would with your teenage son or daughter, and say, look, we got to have a talk, Timmy. We got to have a talk, Tanya. This isn't working, and this is how it's going to have to be. And it is hard. It is difficult. But you cannot allow your parents to destroy your life. You cannot allow your kids to destroy your life. You cannot allow your boss to destroy your life. You cannot allow your crappy, annoying coworkers to destroy your life. You can't allow your annoying, ungrateful, jerk friends to destroy your life. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you to kick everyone in your life to the curb. I'm telling you that you just need to put yourself first. I quit my job as an immigration attorney 5 months ago. It was scary. It always is, but it was liberating because I hate working. I hate working at jobs. It's annoying. Just these last week, I got 2 big legal clients. Really grateful for that. One of them is because of the TEDx, and one of them is someone just searched my name looking for an attorney in White Plains, New York, and that's where my office is in New York. And wow, great! I got two new clients. My bills are paid for the next 3 months. But guess what? I'm so happy that I have this freedom now, and I'm glad. It was scary for 4.5 months with no income and living off of savings, but I'm not going to put up with a boss who stinks. And this boss at these 2 bosses at this big, huge Miami law firm, horrible owners. Terrible, terrible people who only care about money and do not care about their employees. And I am appalled that this is how they treat people. So sometimes you just got to say, no more. I'm sorry. So with you, I would say you need to have a chat with them and figure that out. And one of the 2 ways you can figure it out is either you figure out how to make them more independent and get them at a place of their own, or find another living arrangement. Or number 2, figuring out a way to make living with them easier for everybody. You should not be the one who is dealing with the largest burden of this. And Pearl, you said, but how if that difficult person was ever help us in the past? Pearl, if you're still there, I'm not sure what you're saying. It says, but how if that difficult person was ever help? I'm not sure you're saying how to do what, and what do you mean if that difficult person was to ever help us in the past? Well, I think maybe you're saying is, this difficult person helped you greatly in the past, and so you feel an obligation to help that person and to put up with that person, there is a line in the sand. And I tell you, that line is your sanity must come first. But please understand, it does not mean kicking the other people to this curb. Sometimes it does with that law firm. I think they wanted me to quit for a long time, and they just kind of kept piling things on and treating me poorly until finally I just said, you know what, I'm not putting up with this anymore. This is absurd. And maybe that's the case. But I'm just urging you to remember, it doesn't mean that you kick them to the curb, but just because there are so many people who lord it over you. When I say lord it over you, as if they are your Lord and you owe them because of all they did for you in the past. Well, are you serious? Look, you're going to do this to your mom or your dad after everything I did for you and this and that. And at some point, you got to just say, enough. I'm not putting up with this anymore. So that's the other side to it. I told you before that you can first try to find an alternate situation to move that person out of your life, but it works well for that person too. Number two is figuring out a way to negotiate with that person and come up with a solution where you're both happier with the situation. And number three is you just get rid of that person completely. In some situations, that makes sense. In some situations, it does not. And there are some siblings who it's worth putting up with and helping them. There are some who are not worth it. There are some parents who are worth going out of your way to help and putting up with it. And there are other parents who are not worth it. What I'm just trying to tell you is the relationship and what these people did for you in the past should have little bearing on the decision that you make on how you deal and work with these people. And again, it sounds selfish, but it's me. It's number one first. I remember my sisters years ago when I was telling that I wanted to care for, when I would help my mom and I was helping my dad, and both of them were like, Monroe, stop it. You don't need to, this is not your obligation. This is their problem, this and that. I disagreed. And my feeling was, you know what? My parents sacrificed so much so that I could be who I am today. So I owe it to them. So Pearl, you're saying, how if that difficult person was helpful to you in the past? So in that sense, I am willing to put up a lot with my dad when he was dying of Alzheimer's, and now my mom, she's elderly, I'm caring for her. I am willing to put up a lot for them. But there is a line with them. My dad's no longer here. But my mom is always saying, we got to move in together. We should do this, we blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no way, Ma. Not going to happen. Will not happen, because that is my line in the sand. And Mr. Goodkit says, my wife's grandma lived with us for a few years until I couldn't do it anymore. So I finally told my wife something has to change. So we got her set up on disability, and now she has her own apartment. My wife's grandma lived with us for a few years until I couldn't do it anymore. I'm just reading this again. So I finally told my wife something has to change. So we got her set up on disability. Now she has her own apartment. I'm reading that again. That is the way to do it. And that's what I have here. I have a really good situation here. And I mean, my mom and I own 2 condos here in South Beach. We could technically go live in those. But instead, I use that to pay my mom's rent. And I pay my rent from my savings and now from these 2 legal clients, but we both live in the same apartment building, literally right down the hall from one another. And people always ask, well, why are you guys renting? And then when people say, oh, do you rent to your own? Yeah, we rent. And they think immediately, oh, they can't afford condos. And it's like, well, people make so many assumptions all the time about people. That's another great lesson. Don't make assumptions. That's the other thing. Don't make assumptions that if you help somebody find a place of their own, then it's going to be worse. My mom always says, oh, Monroe, we should live together. We should live together. I know better. And I know that if we live together, it will be absolute chaos. I will hate her. She will hate me. It's a disaster. So we have this great relationship where we're in the same apartment building. I can go help her. I go take the dog out. She can come visit me, this and that. but I can kick her out. And she chases me out of her apartment too sometimes. But you have to have these boundaries, and you have to figure out a solution. And Mr. Goodcat, I'm so glad that you finally realized that and said to your wife, hey, we got to figure something out. Yeah, and it was a rough 3 years. I can imagine. I can imagine. Let me tell you, it's more than imagining, because I've been through this. Pearl says, I have a friend who teaches me in the past. She's my senior. She was a clever person, but after giving birth to 2 daughters, she suddenly changes to be annoying. I feel sad for her. And the truth is, having kids, it's a blessing and a curse. And I say this not from personal experience, but from being a child and knowing that in so many ways, I know and I have been a big pain in the ass to my parents, as every kid is. But at the same time, now that she's older, it's a blessing because I am caring for her and looking out for her and managing things. And I'm sure for your friend who has the 2 daughters, it's got to be a big joy and at the same time, a huge burden. But what I always tell people is, don't you dare use your family or your kids or your wife or your girlfriend or your brothers or your sisters or your friends or anyone as an excuse for why you are unhappy and why you are not pursuing your dreams. I hate when people say, oh, Monroe, well, of course you were able to leave your job as a lawyer in New York and go fly to China and go teach English. Well, you're single and have no kids. And you didn't have to care for your parents and this and that. It's such a bunch of baloney. I went to China. Some of my good friends there, they moved once they got the job. He and his wife and their kids, guess what? They all moved to Shanghai too. They didn't use the wife and kids as an excuse. Too many people use it. Oh, I wish I could do it. If I could do that. I went to college in Switzerland for my last 2 years, and I graduated from Franklin College. Now it's called Franklin University, Switzerland. And so many people, even to this day, goes, oh my gosh, you're so lucky you got to go to college in Switzerland. I bet you are so rich. It's nice to have rich parents. Good to have privilege. And I'm thinking, did you apply to a college in Switzerland? And they said, no. So what are you talking about? The reason why you didn't go to a college in Switzerland, this person, is because you're lazy and you did not apply to a college in Switzerland. Did they ask, did I get some college scholarships? I did. Did they ask why I went and did this? No, it's just coming up with excuses. Everybody comes up with excuses. How does this come back to what I'm saying here? Too many times we use these familial relationships, friendship relationships, and work relationships, and we come up with excuses about why we have to endure it and why we cannot improve the situation. And it's a bunch of baloney. Enough. Stop coming up with excuses and say, I am the CEO of my corporation here, and I need to do some human resource management here. If you're the CEO and you keep a bad employee and you do nothing to fix it, you're the idiot. Why don't you fire that person? Why don't you transfer that person to a different department? Why don't you sit down and have a talk and find out what's going on? There is always a solution when it comes to dealing with difficult people. And sometimes the solution is you. Sometimes you need to change your behavior. Because guess what? Sometimes I cause the problem. Sometimes it's my impatience that causes tension in a relationship. Sometimes it's my jealousy. Sometimes it's my anger. You are not perfect. You are not Superman. You are not God's gift to the human race in terms of patience and human relations and emotional management. We are all bonkers. We're all crazy. We have some more comments here. Pearl says she keeps telling everyone about her problems at home, how she hates our boss in the office to everyone. I said, keep your secrets, respect yourself, but she keeps doing that. Hi, Evelyn. Great to see you. Thank you for the likes, guys. We're having a really intense conversation about emotional regulation, managing relationships, working and living with difficult people. There are some people like this, Pearl, who all they want to do is constantly complain to you about how bad their life is and how difficult it is. And it isn't, first of all of us are like that at some times. All of us complain too much to one or two people because we have one or two people who we know are able to hear what we have to say. But there is a point where it has to be a balance. It cannot just be constantly complaining. So your friend here, believe it or not, we all do that at some point. There is some problem you've had in your life and you have just talked your ear off to somebody. What's up, Keck, you're out. And you just monopolize their time whining, wah, 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 my boss, my this, my friend, my kids, this. So I want you to, part of my hope with this discussion right here is to remind you, you do the exact same thing at other times. Right now, you may be thinking, I'm not that difficult. And you might be thinking of a particular relationship where somebody else is annoying to you and really frustrating. And I just want you to know that, guess what? You are that person sometimes too. You are the annoying person. You are the big complainer. You are the problem who's causing tension in a relationship. And it's okay. But the main thing that I'm just trying to tell you here is you can solve the problem. You can improve this situation. I have to go. I'm gonna go caulk my bike because my friend's wife is having some problems. So it's funny how this is happening right now. I'm gonna go out and see if I can. Actually, I'm just gonna maybe walk over there. That'll be easier. Turn off the lights here. What am I doing right now? I'm going to go help solve a problem for my friend's wife. So I should probably go get my wallet. Don't want to be walking without any identification when we're out on the streets, right? The streets are tough, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see some more of these comments. I used to have a friend, says Evelyn, that was my fake sis. Since we role play for years, but since we played a game, she told me I was poor. Again, look, this is the whole thing about relationships. There are going to be, here's the other thing too. There are times when people will say things in the heat of passion when they're very angry that they do not mean. And this is why, my mom and I have a tense relationship, but, by the way, I'm doing this down like this so people live, if this is recorded, people don't see where I'm actually living here. Because I don't want strange people actually coming to, hold on. Okay, yeah, I'll put this thing up later once we, he or she said to you, and I'm gonna do some twists here. Why am I doing twists? So you have no idea where I am, which direction I'm going. I have to do operational security here, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Let me look at more of these comments. But the girl wasn't, she was rich, she will tell me, she was using me. Let me tell you this, rich people sometimes stink. A lot, and we talked about this here, like in Miami Beach, there's just a massive amount of women who only care about money. Money is not that important in life, guys. It's simply a tool. And it doesn't matter really if you have it or not. It does not impact your value. Let me do some more twists on the phone. Good. I think I'm being very clever here so that none of you actually know where I live here in Miami Beach, because that would be trouble. Click that like and subscribe. Thanks, Keck, you're up. She blocked me and then she left me, Evelyn sang, and told him I was rich and just let to see what he said. And let me see, so much I haven't seen you for that long. Look, relationships, I talked about this the other day. Relationships come and go. Relationships sometimes, your best friends today is not going to be your best friend perhaps in 2 years. Maybe in 2 weeks, it's not your best, you don't have the same best friend. It's constantly changing. People are coming into your life, people are leaving your life. And Keck Your App says, I'm throwing off the MonroeMann tracker. I've been trying to lose you YouTube fans the whole weekend, but you guys got those trackers on me wherever I go. Now I'm really dark. You have no idea where the heck I am right now because you can't even see anything. In a moment, I'll pull up the phone and we'll be in light and all will be well. So, I'm still very sad. We were like besties. So that is the situation, right? Is that you are always gonna have friendships come and go. And as I told, okay, here, there are people in my life who were my best friends. I talked about this the other day. 10 years ago, amazing best friend. I just saw a picture 2-3 days ago, and it's like, oh my gosh, that person has not been in my life. And we were best friends. She was one of my biggest supporters, and now gone. And how does this relate to our topic today about dealing with difficult people and dealing with coworkers who are difficult and family members who are difficult? It is, this too shall pass, as you say. You have to come up with a decision about, hey, I know that if I can suck this up for a little bit longer, but the question is, how much longer do you want to put up with it? Either you have to improve the relationship, you need to make the relationship stronger by talking to these people and figuring it out, or you have to figure out a way to get out of that relationship. Some relationships you cannot fix. Some of them you can't fix, but you feel it's worth it to put up with it. You have to really do an analysis of every one of these very difficult relationships. As I said, with my job at the law firm, I just finally did the analysis and said, there is no way this is worth it. I tried to fix it multiple times. It did not work. So finally I just said, that's it. I quit. And I said that. I quit during a meeting, got up, walked out the door. And now I'm a YouTube live streamer. I mean, how cool is this? I'm so grateful that I got out of that relationship and found a better relationship with you guys. Because I much prefer talking and working with you guys than I did at that law firm. Let me see some of these comments. I'm kind of sad. I gave a bracelet to my bestie in school on her birthday, and today my mom asked where it was. I told her she was really mad at me because she said my grandma gave it to me. I'm trying to understand what just said there. I'm not sure if I completely understand it. Let me read that again. I'm kind of sad. I gave a bracelet to my best friend. Oh! You're saying you gave a bracelet to your best friend that your mom said she got from her mother? I can understand how that is. I remember, it's not the exact same story, but I remember when I was getting started as an actor in New York City, and I got cast in I was on some TV show or something, and they asked for some photographs of when I was a kid, when I was a child. And I asked my mom for some pictures of me when I was like 7 or 8 years old, and she gave them to me, and she said, what are you doing with them? I said, oh, it's for the movie. And it was a real television show, like something on NBC or something like that. And unbelievably, the production team lost all the photos, and my mom was absolutely devastated. She said, I know I shouldn't have given the photos and stuff. And the lesson from that is, don't you dare give any movie director, producer, or props person any of your precious photos, clothing, or anything. These people in the movie business are sometimes just terrible. All they care about is themselves and their job, and they don't actually care about helping you. Let me see what I got here. My grandpa gave it to me when I was little. I don't know when I gave it to her. So this is a big issue too with relationships. You think that you can trust somebody, and you decide you're going to give somebody something precious to you, and then that person leaves you and abandons you and is no longer your friend. This is why I always say, if I ever get married, she's signing a prenup. I don't know if you know what a prenup is, a prenuptial agreement. It's an agreement that says, hey, this is what's mine, this is what's yours, and if we get divorced, this is still what's mine, this is still what's yours. I would do the same exact thing with friends. Like, hey, I'm giving you this bracelet, blah, 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 put it down in a contract, this and that. It sounds silly, but sometimes you have to put things in writing and be very, very careful. Evelyn, you learned a very good lesson here about relationships. Be careful who you trust. Be careful to whom you give what. And really determine, if I never get this thing back, is it going to destroy me forever? For example, the same thing with that Mr. Goodcat was talking about earlier. He said that he welcomed his wife's grandpa into his home, and it was for 3 years, and it was just chaotic and difficult. The question you're going to ask yourself is, if I continue to live in this situation with this bad relationship for another year or two, am I going to go absolutely crazy? Is it going to negatively influence me dramatically? If the answer is yes, you have to find a solution. The situation with the bracelet. Before you give your bracelet to a friend, you say, what's the value of this bracelet? How will I feel if I never get this bracelet back again? How will I feel if I give this bracelet to my friend and then my friend a year from now is no longer my friend? And it sounds very clinical and legalistically to try to approach your friendships and relationships this way. But I promise you, if you do this, you're not going to be in these very difficult situations. Thank you guys for clicking like and subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. What's up, family business? Well, today we're talking about relationships and dealing and working with difficult people in your life, in your friendships, in your day-to-day lives. And I'm just trying to help guide you some perspective. And what's up? Yeah, Carly, Billy Bob is coming back. Billy Bob, I think, is going to be learning, starting a business with Billy Bob. Billy Bob's going to share his best tips for what you need to do when you start a business. So that's coming soon. And I'm not sure what you're talking about. I don't know why it is turning blue. So anyway, for those who are just joining us again, you are going to have difficult relationships with your family, with your friends, with your job. And you need to just be confident saying, I'm going to find a solution to the problem. Okay? I'm going to find a solution to the problem. I'm at my friend's house now, but I don't know how to get in here. So, let me see. I will be back, says it, catch her up. I don't know why it's turning blue. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to do a quick text to my friend so she can come out and open the door for me. I'll be back in 20 seconds. Okay, so I am back again. What's up, Casper Friendly? Good to see you. Evelyn says, I remember my bestie gave a Barney toy and I had anger issues and I cut the tail and I couldn't control myself and then I never saw it again. And it's funny, like we're talking here about Evelyn and her little Barney toy and this and that, and some of the older people watching might be thinking, this is stupid. Why are we talking about little stupid childish problems with little Barney toys? It's exactly the same thing that all of us deal with as adults too. I am telling you that Barney toy is the same thing. The Barney toy to Evelyn is the same as I lent my car to my cousin. And she got into a car accident and then she didn't fix it. And she just gave me back the keys and I had $10,000 worth of damage. I mean, that's annoying. Or every time I go out with whomever, we get into a big argument or he's always telling me that I need to lose weight or I need to do this or I need to do that. What's up, Stephanie? I'm on a YouTube live stream. So do you want to be on it too? I'm here, okay? Let me finish this up and then I'll come in, all right? Okay, see ya. So, that's my friend, Stephanie. And again, I'm here trying to help her solve problems with somebody that's in her life, her ex-boyfriend, who's being difficult. What is she doing? Her husband, my friend, called me and said, Monroe, you got to go help out. So here we are, finding solutions to relationship problems. Let me see. It may be even sad, though it's just a toy. Just remember, again, Evelyn, this is twice that you've given something important to you, to a friend, and then you're upset when that person didn't return that thing to you. So think about that and try to learn a lesson. Remember, you think that you're thinking in your head, oh, these two friends are very difficult. These two friends wronged me. They treated me poorly because they took what was mine and didn't give it back, and then they broke off the friendship. But maybe it's your fault. Why? Because you prematurely decided, I'm going to trust this person with something that is very valuable to me. First time with a bracelet, second time with a Barney toy. The next time, think, you know what? Think about this. So many people come onto my live stream to go, hey, can I make me a mod? Make me a mod, which is short for moderator. And these people come on, I don't even know who they are. And I tell them, look, if you want to be a moderator, we need to build a relationship first. We need to first trust one another. More importantly, I need to trust that whoever you are, that I'm going to be able to trust that you can handle being a moderator and you're not going to indiscriminately block people randomly and mess everything up. It's the same thing. I think you're giving your toys and your bracelets to your friends before you really know who these people are, before that they can really trust you. Let me see. Carly will be back. It made me sad. It's just a toy. I'm back. Family business. I'm leaving. I want to see a different live stream. No problem, family business. It happens. She sounds sweet. Kek, you're up, is saying see ya to family business. I don't know if you have this. As you sometimes know, I kind of create these live streams sometimes with something that's going on right in my life at that time. And so maybe you don't have a very difficult situation that you're in, a difficult relationship, or you don't have something going on with someone who's just driving you absolutely crazy. But I promise you, you will. Maybe later today, maybe tomorrow, maybe in a week, maybe in a month. I just want you to remember 3 things. Number 1, take a deep breath. Don't do something in the heat of the argument and say something that you regret. Just be chill. Number 2, as soon as you can, get out of that situation. You cannot think clearly when you were in that situation with that person. Get away from that person. As I mentioned before, even if you're going to the bathroom or a walk around the block, it'll make you think a lot more clearly. And then the third thing is solve the problem. To solve the problem, you need to either fix it, right? You need to fix the situation by talking with that person and maybe fix the relationship. The only other alternative is if you can't fix the situation and can't fix the relationship, you can either say, okay, is it worth it for me to put up with this baloney from this person? And sometimes it is. But if you say, you know what, it is not worth it, and my mental health is being influenced really negatively, then what do you need to do? You need to cut ties with that person, either by helping that person to find somewhere else to do their job or live or work, whatever, or just say adios, au revoir, до свидания, 再见. Let me see what some of these questions are. And we're still very besties, 3rd grade, growing 5th in a month. How was your day? Hey, Kek. It was overall good. This morning, I made a short video. I'm going to put together a short video, a little maybe 5-minute travel video about my trip up to Rainbow Springs, which is near Ocala, Florida. And I think you guys are going to like that. It's a really, really beautiful place. And had an interesting drive back. And, oh, Stephanie. Yeah, you know, she didn't want to be on the live stream. And I get that. Some people are very private and they don't want their face to be shown. Maybe one day. We'll see. Has everyone got their thumbs up? That's right. Well, I got my thumbs up. Do you guys have your thumbs up? Hope you're also clicking like so that the thumbs actually go up. And there, we got one more. We got 11. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you, Evelyn. And again, I forgot. And the other thing to remind yourself, guys, is ask yourself, think about every relationship that you are in. Not only the good ones, but think also of the bad ones, the difficult ones. And instead of trying to think, what is wrong? What is this other person doing to make this relationship bad? Take responsibility. Ask yourself, what am I possibly doing that could maybe be a spark that causes tension in this relationship? I promise you, as they say, it takes two to tango. It's not always the other person. And sometimes if you can meet that person in the middle, you can de-escalate the situation yourself. And you can realize, okay, every time I say this, it makes that person get upset. So then maybe don't say that. Try to become a little bit less antagonistic. Don't be the one who instigates the problems. And Evelyn's asked if I still have the wig. I have a wig that I use for some of the live streams. I'm not wearing it now, but maybe I will in the week ahead. Oh, you were on that live, says Carly. So we're going to see. Yeah. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go check in and just see what the heck's going on and if she needs my help. So I'm going to sign off for now. I will be back later tonight with something from Billy Bob. So stay tuned. I will be back. Well, I wear a wig, but that Kino Surf is not wearing a wig. Kino Surf is a genuine blonde-haired surfer dude who has the most amazing hair ever. Duh, right? Anyway, guys, awesome. Let's reconvene in probably about an hour. You will see some amazing, oh no, because Billy Bob doesn't have such amazing hair, but Kino does. Kino's coming back later next week. And awesome, guys. Thank you for joining me. Remember, you want to try to solve every difficult situation you're in with difficult relationships. And yes, that other person is probably difficult. Also ask yourself, is it me? Maybe you can also change yourself. We all can improve. We can all become better humans. We can all become better negotiators. We can all become more patient people. But at some point, you have to remember, maybe it's just better to say, we're done. Not always, but sometimes. So there are a lot of different variables you need to think about. But I promise you, if you take it seriously, you can work through any difficult relationship and find a solution. See you guys.